Hey guys, Jeremy Shesky here, rigging coordinator for GGBY 2018. I wanted to make a little video for you guys to kind of go over what to expect when you come to GGBY this year from a rigging standpoint. There's a lot of kind of different rigging styles that we use at this festival that might differ from what you're used to. The most notable of which is the use of these hang frames, they're called, these big beefy wooden frames. Last year at GGBY 2017, we used a similar style of hang frame built with the metal bracket at the head of the frame, similar to the one in the background there. But we made some changes this year. I just want to briefly cover what you should look for when you see a highline rigged at GGBY. So you will see a big frame like this, and then there'll be a nice piece of 8mm static rope running through the head of the frame and then kind of converging down at this ring. We call this the master hang point. Our anchor is going to be straight connected to that with a pair of shackles that are locked closed with zip ties. And then on the static side, you're going to see a pair of sewn loops on both the main and the backup line, and they're kind of intermixed with two shackles so that they're both backed up and both connected to two different connectors. And everything, all the shackles are held closed so they don't vibrate open by zip ties. And then you're going to see a series of ratchet straps on the frame. One red one holding the frame down, and then three holding the legs in place. And there's going to be this bolt that's situated directly underneath the frame, and that's where two of the ratchet straps will be connected to. And over that bolt, we're going to have a nice custom-made crash pad underneath every single anchor. And these crash pads are held in place by the ratchet straps also. They're in place to back up the frame, such that if the frame were to fall over or break somehow, which is extremely unlikely, we'll have a pad here to kind of protect the line if it falls down to the ground so it doesn't contact the rock. And so another purpose for the pads is to wipe your feet off before you get onto the line. The fruit bowl, as some of you know, is covered in sand. And that sand, if it's on your feet when you enter the line, it can work its way into the weave of the webbing and damage it over time. And so to help mitigate that, we ask that people wipe their feet off before they hop on the line. And so another thing I want to cover here is the queuing process, how we're going to line up to get on the line. Last year we had a few different methods that we tried, first of which was a piece of tape on one of the legs that people wrote their name on. But finally we ended up using your harness to kind of form a line on the anchor. And so what you'll do is you take your harness. If there's already a line of harnesses on the anchor, clip it to the back, but simply just clip your harness to one of the strands of the anchor, just like that, using your hangover or beaner or whatever. It'll be helpful if you have a tag on your harness with your name, contact information, just so people know whose harness that is when it gets to the front, because when it is to the front, it's your turn to get on the line. And then the next thing I'd like to cover is some of the markings that you'll see on the line itself. We have a few feet or a few meters from the hang frame. You'll notice one or many sets of orange or yellow tape. Those are the indicators for the starting and the stop points on the high line. You should never start or stop your high line after or before those tapes. Always go out beyond it or stop before you reach that point when you're coming into the anchor. That's for your own safety, because that indicates where it's safe to take a leash fall. If you walk past and take a leash fall, you might risk hitting the rock below. So please mind that and keep it in mind when you're walking the line. And another point I want to cover is the time limits on the lines. We have a lot of people come to this festival and limited number of lines and limited number of daylight hours. And so please respect the time limit sign that's going to be posted on the leg of the hang frame. It's different for each line depending on how long it is. But please try and respect that, because there's probably going to be a bunch of people behind you wanting to try that line too. If you spend less time on the line, get others through, you can oftentimes get another session later on in the day. And so just remember that when you're on the line, and try to be mindful of it. That pretty much covers everything that I wanted to discuss. Feel free to comment below with any questions. We're getting excited for the events 2 weeks away. We hope to see you out there.